Yes.
And it's not uncommon that someone stands on the stage that has a certain health condition. I saw it happen just a couple months ago, or a guy with Parkinson's disease. He horrible. He lost his memory. Then he lost his hearing. Then he lost his eyesight.
Oh.
And then he couldn't move. He got paralyzed on one side of his body. He had tremors. He had a lot of pain. He was drooling on himself. He was frozen in prison. I saw him on the stage. He says, no cane. He's walking. Is nothing. No effect, right? He's his complete reversal of the condition without taking anything.
In 7 days.
And well, he was doing the work, and then he came to the event, and then it happened, right? He had his moment. But what it speaks to is that 4-minute mile where somebody in the audience is like, this dude doesn't look any different than me. He's in his 60s. He looks a little overweight. He's wearing a baseball cap. I'd probably walk past him on the street. But he's the example of truth. And there were so many people in that audience that had Parkinson's disease, and he was the hope. He was the light for them.
That's cool.
They're like, if he can do it, I can do it. And then all of a sudden, just like an infection spreads amongst a community and creates disease, now you see health and wellness becoming as infectious as disease. You know, we had 5 people step out of a wheelchair at one event last year in Denver. We had 5 people with Raynaud's syndrome in the UK that one person stood on the stage, another person stood on the stage, and it just happened just like that with 2 people that were blind. 2, not 1, but 2 got their vision back. I couldn't believe it, right? It's just, it's a footprint in consciousness, right? That people can step into when you see that stage testimonial. And so I want it to be to the point where you see it and you can't go back to business as usual. That's what's happened to me in the last 6 months. Like, I've seen stage testimonials that have changed my belief in what's possible.
Wow.
I consider myself an open-minded person.
You've seen a lot of healings also over the years.
Right, but it just keeps getting better. It just keeps getting, like, how did that happen? Like, how did that person make that dramatic change? Like, a woman had her colon and rectum surgically removed from cancer, literally grew a whole new rectum, whole new colon. And I saw the scans. It's not scar tissue. It's juvenile, healthy, regenerated, brand new tissue, brand new rectum and colon.
Wow.
What does that mean? What does that mean? It means the human body has the innate capacity to regenerate itself at any age. She's in her 70s or late 60s. Given the right information. Like, we've been programmed with something else. So when you see that, it's unbelievable, right? It stretches my belief in what's humanly possible. But if one person can do it, it means that anybody can do it. Right?
Wow. I'm curious about this. You know, for the last, let's say, 10 years, meditation and therapy has both been more than mainstream. A lot of people talking about meditation, a lot of people doing therapy. And a lot of people just broken, right? Just broken and feeling like they need healing. Do we actually need traditional therapy in your mind to heal? Or can meditation, mindset, breath work help us heal trauma just as fast?
Yeah, we're doing a study in December to answer that question, a randomized control study. And we're using veterans in special ops in San Diego. And we're going to most of these men and women probably don't know anything about me, and we're randomly selecting them, and they're going to come. We're pretty confident because we've seen enough of them break through. I mean, you tell a Navy SEAL, you know, get that heart of yours open, reset the baseline for trauma in the brain. They're not going to say, "Oh, I can't do it." They're going to be like, "I'll do it, sir."
Wow.
I mean, they'll do it.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yeah.
So we're going to compare the PTSD. When a person goes through a 7-day retreat with some clinical, cognitive neuroscience and therapy, and compare the 2 models and with a control to see which does the best. But here's my answer to that. I really think it's a function of the therapist. Like, if the therapist is present, the therapist has a good way to help a person not only have an insight. Like, insight really doesn't change behavior. You could say your father was overbearing or your father was never present, but it doesn't change your behavior in any way. It just actually It actually validates it in a certain way. It's kind of like you excuse yourself for being this way. So the insight doesn't change the behavior, but if there's a practical tool that the person can do, whatever that is, whatever it is to help them to behave differently and to function to a greater degree in their life, right? And so many people who come to the week-long event that have been bruised or been damaged or have been traumatized, many of them can function better in their world because they've gotten over their past to some degree. Now, again, everybody's at different stages. Everybody's had a different past. But when we look at the changes that are taking place in the majority of people, we're pretty confident that it's good for people. It's good for people to do.
Therapy?
No, if you said compare the therapy against the meditation and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then of course there's different types of meditations, right? And then it just gets complicated. So, if you find something that you feel good about, do it.
Yeah. Do more of it.
Do more of it.
Try multiple things if you need.
Sure, of course.
Is there something that you think cannot be manifested?
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
because you've seen a lot of people do some amazing things.
Well, I mean, I'm weird, in that way. I'm always pushing the envelope of what's humanly possible. I mean, there's just kind of the more of the academic, analytical mind of myself that is always dovetailing concepts to build this bigger model of what's possible.